Hello, so we're here with review number 2 from the Bubble Diaries. I've got another bottle of champagne here today which I'm going to be tasting. So this one is called Nicolas Feuillatte. So I'm going to move on to the review in just a wee moment, but I'd like to just talk through a little bit about what I've been up to this month in terms of any different champagnes that I've tried. And I would also like just to reiterate what I said on the first video, which is I'm in no way a champagne expert or a wine expert. My boyfriend said to me, you're just a mug punter who buys champagne and likes to drink it, and that is literally it. So I'm sorry if you're looking for something a bit more serious. It's just a little review on my personal thoughts on a few different bottles of champagne. So I'm going to move on to review just shortly, but I'd like to just say a little bit about what I've been doing this month, as I've been to a couple of different places for various glasses of sparkling wine. So one place I went to was Gleneagles, which I'd actually never been to for afternoon tea, which is what we had. And my boyfriend and I had a voucher to use. And you know, tea is lovely, but it's quite nice to have a glass of champagne as well. So I had a glass of Gleneagles there. So I do have a little test for you to see if anyone could guess the price of a glass. So you could book the afternoon tea with the glass of champagne already, and then the price for an additional glass of champagne. It's quite pricey, that gives you a clue, but I'll tell you on the next video how much it was. The other place that I visited was a new-ish wine bar in Glasgow called Brett, and they are serving a variety of kind of unusual wines as well as bar snacks and things like that. So I hadn't been before, so it was quite nice to try there. I had a glass of Crémant, which is another French sparkling wine. It's not champagne, and that's maybe something I'll look at reviewing in the future. But yeah, I had a really nice glass of wine there, and we also had some duck croquettes. So anyone in Glasgow looking for a little wine bar, it's definitely somewhere to try. I'd also just like to mention the Instagram page that I have for the Bubble Diaries. So on there, I've been posting pictures of the bottles of champagne that I've been reviewing, as well as other bottles of champagne that I've tried, or just nice pictures of champagne. And I'm also going to try and put on the stories any champagne deals that I see in supermarkets, so whenever they have offers on any of the big branded champagnes. And I'm looking at doing a giveaway soon as well, so I'd love it if you could possibly go to the Bubble Diaries _ and give me a wee follow. That would be great. So you'll remember from the last video, if you watched it, that we reviewed the Aldi champagne at £12.49. We're moving up in the world to this Nicolas Feuillatte bottle, which a little bit pricier. I bought this from Tesco. It was on a slight offer, so it was £20 down to 18. So for purposes of this, we'll say it was £18. This champagne is produced by a company called the Centre Vinicole. They are very large wine producers. They have up to 5,000 vineyards. And what's quite interesting about this champagne is that Nicolas himself said that he wanted to try and create a champagne that would appeal more to women. He believed that a lot of other big name champagnes were quite acidic tasting, so he wanted to reduce that and create a softer champagne which would appeal to the female market. So that's quite interesting. So when I open the bottle, we'll see if that is something I'm picking up on. The other thing that's quite interesting is the role that Princess Diana played in the success of this champagne. So she was organising a charitable trust event in London in 1993, I believe, and Nicolas presented his rosé champagne as part of this blind tasting, and it beat the rivals in the category. And so Princess Diana and Nicolas became quite friendly, and she then proceeded to serve his champagne at various receptions. So if it's good enough for royalty, it's definitely good enough for me. So I think I'll go ahead now and pop this bottle, and we'll get on to the important part. I'm going to mention that I have changed glass this week because I realised last week the slightly tinted colour isn't giving you a true representation of the colour of the champagne itself. This is slightly iridescent, so I am sorry it looks slightly patchy. It's been through the dishwasher, so don't judge me for that. Probably should have been hand washed. So a little bit of information about the champagne. It is 12%. It's a brut again, and it's made from the primary grapes, so Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier. to Prosecco is the length that you get these bubbles for, so they remain much longer with champagne. And that's something I'd maybe discuss in a further video, a bit more technicality on the production of champagne and how it differs from Prosecco. So, I mean, I can actually smell this. Even before I brought the glass closer, I could smell the aroma from the champagne. I mean, it is just absolutely beautiful. So, definitely some sweetness, I would say, to this one. And also quite that strong, bready, toasty flavour. I mean, the bubbles are just fantastic. They're really, really visible in this glass today. So let's have a little taste. Okay, so it's quite fruity. It's interesting. I feel like when I was nosing the champagne, I was getting more of the bready, yeasty notes. Whereas when I've tasted it, that's kind of gone. It is more of a fruity, sweeter, well, I don't want to say it's sweeter, it's just, it is a softer champagne, I think. Sorry to keep harping on about the bubbles, but they're actually so effervescent that I can hear them. Like, I don't know, if I'm very quiet, maybe you can hear them. Where's the microphone? Like, really, I'm loving the bubbly level of this champagne. So, okay, so far my review would be amazing aroma to the champagne, very strong for me in terms of the flavour that I like. The taste, to me, it's disappeared a little quickly. Definitely getting some sort of fruitiness at the end, and it's not leaving that bready taste, which I do genuinely prefer in a champagne. It's actually quite a tricky one to sort of review. I would say it's quite interesting. I would say that if you're someone that likes champagne but sometimes finds it a little bit too much, this is probably a really good option. I can kind of see what the comments were from Nicolas about maybe other champagnes being too acidic. This genuinely does seem quite soft. I think for my personal tastes, I'm finding the flavour a little bit too delicate for me. I probably prefer a little bit stronger than this. But certainly it seems a really lovely champagne. And again, we're still talking lower end price wise. So I've paid £18 for this bottle. Normally it's maybe £20. That could vary supermarket to supermarket, but still it's not as if we're spending £40 upwards on a bottle. So I'm going to try and score this champagne, which is a little bit problematic. I'm just going to have a wee think for a minute. So I'm going to recap what I've said. An amazing aroma, amazing level of bubbliness. For me, the taste is a little bit soft and it's not lingering. So, well, with whiskey tastings, we talk about the finish, so I guess it's a similar thing. The finish of the whiskey is a taste that sort of leaves at the end. This isn't leaving too much of a taste behind. I hate to say it, but I feel like the Aldi one left more of a taste. But maybe that is what they were going for because it is this softer champagne. Oh, it's a tough one to score. I think it's between a 7 and a 7.5, because again, it's still, okay, considering the price is £18, which is what I paid for it, I'll give it 7.5. So that's the points I would say. Definitely a softer champagne. So some people do find champagne a bit too much. I mean, I love it when you're at an event somewhere and they're handing out a glass of Prosecco or champagne and you're with somebody that doesn't drink it, because then you could just swoop in and say, oh, well, don't worry, I'll take that for you. Yeah, been guilty of that, definitely. So, final score, 7.5. Considering the price, it's still not a bad champagne at all. So for the next review, I'll try and find a bottle that's maybe sort of under £30 still, and I'll try and find one that's, you know, even if it's discounted, it's not a huge discount, it's still between say £20 to £30. So I'll have a wee think about what we'll do for that. I hope you've enjoyed review number 2. Like I said at the beginning, please follow me on Instagram and you can keep up with what reviews are coming next, and any champagne deals or champagne bars that I visited. So I hope you all have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you are up to, and I'll see you on the next review. Cheers!